When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Did you know you can opt out of winter? With Vrbo, save up to $1,500 for booking a month-long stay. With thousands of sunny homes, why subject yourself to the cold? Just filter your search by monthly stays and save up to $1,500. Book now at Vrbo.com.
It's Christmas season. Happy Kwanzaa, Umoja Day. Everybody's in a good feeling. Everybody getting gifts. And NFL players, they got a gift too this week, Q, in the form of contract stipulations. Bonuses hit. Pro Bowl rosters was announced, Q. We got about 7 Bears that's going to the Pro Bowl, going to Orlando to play flag football.
Fortunately, no. But.
What?
No. But I have a consolation prize for you. Because the week before, you're going to have 53 Bears heading to California to play real football. Sneak preview. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
You're going to Santa Clara, huh?
Santa Clara.
So this weekend, they're testing the scenes. They're seeing what hotel they like best. Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah.
But
seeing what Airbnb you like, checking it out to come back in February. Get your favorite food.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Q. It was the 2010 NBA season. Boston Celtics were a little bit struggling that year. They had played I think the Lakers on like Christmas or something like that, and they got their ass beat. Doc Rivers was the coach. Glenn Rivers, if you really know him from out west. Shout out to Glenn. He put like a few $100s in the seal, and he said, "Hey, we coming back to get this money." And they went on the road. They went on the. They handled their business and ended up back in the finals. And, they got that money. So you saying the Bears finna do the same thing?
Same thing.
So we ain't got 10 Pro Bowlers. How many Pro Bowlers we got?
We got 3. Disrespectful. An 11-win team with 3 Pro Bowlers. While the 8-win Lions have 5. The 7-win Cowboys have 5. 7-win Ravens have 6.
What?
The only thing they got right is the Packers only have 1. And he got a bad knee, so he won't go. So no Packer Pro Bowlers.
That's fair.
God is good. God is
That is
good.
good. Hold on. So, which Bears are going in Orlando?
We're going to send Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney, and Kevin Byard.
Deserved.
All deserved. However, there's a couple guys that probably had good Pro Bowl resumes and didn't go. I like to say my guy Darnell Wright. They sent Penei Sewell and Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs has missed some time this year, as is Darnell Wright, but Wirfs has missed more. Penei Sewell has had another good year, but at the end of the day, Darnell Wright has played the best right tackle in the NFC. So that's one snub. That's the guy I thought should have went on the most dominant run offense in the NFL.
The obvious snub, missing Nahshon Wright.
Leads the league in takeaways.
10.
10.
Oh, wait. Not only does he lead the league in takeaways with 10, that is a crazy number to not be first name out there for a Pro Bowler. But he's having a career year. How do you have a career season and not be a Pro Bowler? Not saying that he can't get in later on down the line with an injury
Shouldn't have to
replacement,
get
something like
in.
that.
Shouldn't have to get in
Exactly.
via injury. You sent 2 Eagles to the Pro Bowl, and I thought Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have had good years. I got a little problem with them getting in over Nashawn. I saw Devin Witherspoon, JC Horn, they're both in too. Witherspoon's played well. He's a lot of time in that nickel and outside with Seattle. He's been the Seattle secondary has been really good. And Mirari's been the nickel this year. JC Horn has established himself as a very good corner. But Nashawn, it's not only the turnovers this year, but according to advanced metrics, over the last several weeks, he's holding I think he's holding his quarterbacks they only have a 69 or 60 quarterback rating when throwing his way. He's also playing good corner. He's not I know we've seen him get beat by T. Higgins and A.J. Brown. And to be fair, on a couple of them plays where he got torched, he was right there. It was good defense, better offense. Nashad has not only been taking the ball away, over the last 7, 8 weeks, he's actually been a good cover guy too. You see teams aren't really testing him. When's the last time you seen somebody really throwing in his direction? They've been throwing more in Jalen's direction.
Which is crazy. You got Jalen / Tyreek on one side of the field, because, Jalen's not on the pitch count and Tyreek just comes in and spells him when he can. Which pseudo means Nashawn is if you're a football casual, you look at it this way, but it kind of means that Nashawn is the cornerback 1, as you just put it. No one's really tested Nashawn right there. You're damn right. It wasn't too many plays in Nashawn's, area against the Packers this last week. You just look at the most recent game. It wasn't too many plays over there by Nashawn. You had C.J. Gardner you had him throw at C.J. Gardner. You had him throw at Jalen. You had him throw at Tyreek. You didn't see too many Nashawn out there.
No.
Beginning of the season, teams was going at Nashawn.
Trying him.
I agree. This last month of football from Nashawn has been stellar. Bear fans hold a little bit of responsibility for not pushing Nashawn into Orlando.
As the third or the fourth, we're the third largest market in the United States. And after the Giants, Jets, Rams, Chargers, but nobody really pays attention to the Rams and Chargers in LA. They're too busy eating terrible food and trying to become actors in Hollywood and Los Angeles. The fans do bear some type of, no pun intended, responsibility. But even with all the fan voting, you can't really push a guy into the Pro Bowl like you can in the NBA. The fan voting only accounts for 1/3 of the final tally. I don't know if Bears fans really ran to the Pro Bowl ballots to stuff their guy's name in a ballot. We ain't MAGA. We don't really cheat and storm the capitals and alter election votes. I think Bears fans are really just enjoying the ride, and I think Bears fans feel like there's bigger goals to be achieved. But yeah, I think the Pro Bowl voting is kind of I don't know if it's really not made a big deal. How often do you hear about fans taking advantage of the voting process for the NFL? You hear about it more in the NBA.
Did you vote?
I did not vote this year. I actually did not. Yes, I can't complain. Yes, I did. I'm gonna be truthful. I did not vote this year. Did you vote?
I never vote in these things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame other people. I'm not blaming myself. Fuck all that. I'm not doing that.
Who else do you feel was Pro Bowl worthy from the Bears?
So in our private conversations, I thought that we were going to have at least 5, 6 players be Pro Bowlers, right? And maybe, yeah. And I felt like maybe not outright 5 or 6, but there was going to be some injury replacements, and we end up we would end up having 6 guys on this team being Pro Bowls. I thought that was fair for a
I'm
team
sure we
that
got
was
a couple
that is.
alternates. I did not see the alternates though.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's too early for alternates. I felt like Jonah Jackson
That's a good
was
one.
having a stellar season.
That's
I
a
felt
good
like
one.
he was. I felt like his season is not even Pro Bowl, not playing at a Pro Bowl level. I feel like he's playing at an All Pro level.
Jonah Jackson has quietly been overlooked in the grand scheme of things. We've seen the offensive line really improve, but Jonah's just quietly going about his business, just doing his job, pass protecting and run blocking. And running on that right side has just been abundant and bountiful for the Bears.
Easy money on that right side.
Easy
Him
money.
and Darnell Jackson been cleaning fools up over there. But him and Nashawn Wright, I felt were locks. We talked about DeAndre Swift again in our private conversations within the FCF group chat. I felt DeAndre Swift was having a Pro Bowl season too. Maybe not outright, but he'll probably get there as an injury alternate. But you told me that running backs is kind of a deep position this year.
It is,
and some guys don't get it on name. Yeah, you like name recognition might push DeAndre out, but that doesn't mean he's not having a Pro Bowl season.
Yeah, with a healthy C-Mac, a healthy Bijan, and a healthy Jahmyr Gibbs, all more recognizable faces, and all having good years in their right. Although Jahmyr Gibbs last couple games, oof! If you have him in fantasy, you know what I'm talking about. He ain't propelled you in the playoffs like he has in the regular season. And DeAndre Swift, like as you said, he's having a Pro Bowl year. He's running the ball almost as good as anybody in the NFC. I mean, he's averaging 5 a pop. He's up there with the Bijans and Jahmyr in terms of just explosive plays and just gashing defenses. And he doesn't have as many touches as either one of them. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. He's definitely put together a Pro Bowl campaign. I don't think Christian McCaffrey has been good on the ground, not efficient at all. He's averaging like 3.6, 3.7 yards a carry, but he's getting the volume. He's getting in the end zone, and he's getting a lot of targets in the pass game. So I felt like Swift had a tall mountain to climb. Although we've seen before that players have gotten the nod when they have a really good team. And I don't know how you have an 11-win team and you don't have more than 3 Pro Bowlers.
This is from Courtney Cronin, one of the Bears beat writers. The Bears received the most fan votes of any team, which accounts for 1/3 of the overall vote in determining who makes the Pro Bowl roster. Chicago had 5 offensive players: Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, Tooney, Dahlman, and Darnell Wright. 4 on defense: Nashawn, Tremaine Edmonds, Byard, and Jaquan Brisker. And 2 special teamers, Josh Blackwell and Devin Duvernay, who, 2 other guys we did talk about making a Pro Bowl. All those guys were top vote getters by the fans at their respective positions. So it's not the fans that didn't do their job. It's the coaches and the players. They was hating.
So the fans did do their part for Chicago.
Right.
So it was either the front office or the peers that didn't get the man.
I'm gonna just call it like this: they was salty. They was probably getting beat by the Bears. They ain't like it.
Makes sense.
Bunch of Packers fans. Let's talk about this game coming up. So the Bears are going to Santa Clara to test, to scope the scene, see where they want to be when they come back in February. This week, though, they're playing the 49ers in a game that is very important for the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. Q, do you know what happens if the Bears win this game as it relates to that number 1 seed?
The Seahawks are the current number 1 seed, right? And they're 12-3, right? Oh, the Bears would clinch the number 2 seed with the win and the NFC North. And they would need a Seattle loss to San Francisco in the final game of the season to be the number 1 overall seed, correct?
That's right. The opportunity is there, but for both teams, the 49ers and the Bears. But they have to win out, and they need the Seattle Seahawks to stumble. You know who the Seahawks play this weekend?
The Seahawks have the Panthers, who have been upset city.
Panthers already beat the
Rams.
Yeah, they already beat the Rams this season.
And the Packers.
Mm-hmm. So, sidebar. If the Panthers make the playoffs, and right now if the playoffs started today, they would make the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, who won the trade? The Bears or the Panthers?
I think it's hands down. Even if the Panthers go to the playoffs, the Bears want to trade. Um, I was going to put a silver lining in there for the Panthers, but the Bears left this trade with Caleb Williams, who's ascending to looking like a superstar. All he needs is the consistency in the first half, but he's looking like he's ascending to a superstar as we speak. It's not like next year he could be a superstar. It's actually in progress right now. It happened in the middle of the season, and this is the thing where I said his improvement wasn't going to just be linear. You're starting to see him ascend. The Bears got DJ Moore out the trade. They ended up with Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson. I got to say the Bears won this trade. I don't think there's any debate or dispute. And even if the Panthers make the playoffs, the silver lining, I'd have to say they take all their assets back if they could.
I think they would too, but it'd be cool seeing both teams in the playoffs at the same point, right? It's Young's third season, right? Him making the playoffs, his first time they get into the playoffs, it's pretty much putting their rebuild on the right track, and the Bears getting at the same time. That's cool for me. That's cool. But we definitely rooting for the Panthers this weekend. Obviously, the Bears need to handle their business, but we want the Panthers to go ahead and knock off another NFC West team. We usually start this thing with the injury report for this game. Bears, we got a lot of players this time around. We have been trending down in the last, month or so. I remember one time we had about 16 guys on the list. Now we got about that same amount on the list. We got Nick McLeod, Roma Dunze, Josh Blackwell, Nashawn Wright, TJ Edwards, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Luke Newman, Luther Burton, Kevin Byard, Drew Dahlman, Devin Duvernay, Travis Homer, DeMarco Jackson, Amen Omabega, and Joe Tooney all on the injury list.
Tooney probably a rest day, though.
Of course, always. However, there are only two guys who've been ruled out so far for Sunday's game, Roma Dunze and Nick McLeod. Luther Burton is right now. They're saying he's going to play. Kevin Byard, Drew Dahlman, Kevin Duvernay, Travis Homer, DeMarco Jackson, Amen, and Joe Tooney are all looking to play as well. They will be a go for this game, for this Sunday night football game against the Niners. Blackwell, Nashawn Wright, TJ Edwards, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Luke Newman are all questionable. Q, which one of those names that are questionable jumps out as a surprise to you?
You said CJ Gardner-Johnson was questionable. That's a mildly good surprise to me, because anytime a guy goes down with a non-contact injury and grips at his knee, you fear the worst. So CJ being questionable is a mild surprise to me. A mild good surprise. Nashawn jumps out to me too, because the Bears already are beat up enough at corner. If CJ misses, we're getting the scary hours, because Nick McLeod is really our third, fourth nickelback. We've just ran through all the nickelback possibilities. Kyler Gordon out, CJ out, McLeod out. I guess it's Josh Blackwell time again.
Yeah, man.
But then
Josh, be ready.
If Nashawn misses, I guess Tyreek and Jalen will be outside. So I guess we could survive Nashawn a little bit.
How big is it that Luther Burton is returning for this game?
Huge, because the 49ers secondary has not been hasn't been really good. Their defense is dealing with a lot of injuries too, and the numbers probably look decent on. I think San Francisco defense is either ranked 11th in yardage or scoring, but they're not a good defense. They're not playing good football right now. They've played some bad teams recently, which propped up their defensive numbers. Luther Burden being healthy puts a lot of pressure on that 49ers secondary. Gives Caleb another vertical threat. That's huge. In a huge game, we need that type of weapon. I feel like we got it done without we got it done last week without Burden, but it's just better to have all your weapons at your disposal. It's not a good plan in the long term to be down to DJ and Zacchaeus and Ja'Day Walker as your top three receivers. Nothing against those latter two, but one is an undrafted free agent. One is a guy who's pretty much essentially a one-year rental.
49ers have 9 players on their injury report. George Kittle, Renardo Green, Tatum Bethune, CMC, Ricky Pearsall, Curtis Rourke, Trent Williams, to name just the notable names that's on the report. Now, I do want to say CMC, Christian McCaffrey, for those uninitiated, and Trent Williams, they were on the report for rest, same as you always see with Joe Tooney. Yeah, they're going to play, even though they didn't practice on Wednesday, and they did. The 49ers actually had practice on Christmas. That's why they need to lose right now. Anyway, but the name that steps out to me, other than those two guys that missed for rest, George Kittle. He did not practice at all so far this week, and he is right now a game-time decision. Q, same question I asked about the Bears. How big is it if George Kittle does not play in this game?
Big. George Kittle is absolutely – he's turned back the clock a little this year. I didn't expect to see Kittle playing this well. He's 32, 33. I didn't expect to see him put together this type of season, and he's been targeted a lot in the passing game. And he's looked good after the catch too. He's looked fast. He's looked spry. This looks like peak George Kittle. He's been a real matchup problem for defenses. He's been in there blocking. He's been a real problem running those seam routes, getting vertical, coming up with big third down catches. And he's missed a little time, but man, since he's come back, he's been on fire. And the Purdy-Kittle connection has been – it's been money. I got beat by a Purdy-Kittle connection by a terrible fantasy manager who's somehow in the championship game in your league. But yeah, Kittle's been tough since he's come back. So it would definitely be a big sign of relief if Kittle isn't able to suit up Sunday night for the Bears defense.
What hurts more, stepping on one of your kids' Legos in the middle of the night, or losing to a fantasy manager that is terrible?
Man, that's tough. My kids are teens now, so if I step on a Lego, I'm whooping when they asses. Why you slow asses still playing with Legos? Unless you one of these top tier Lego designers where they make the ships and stuff, don't get no Lego. Ain't no point in having Legos. Losing to a fantasy manager, a bad fantasy manager who doesn't deserve it, that hurts worse. Because, the Lego thing is a temporary thing. It hurts at the time. You wince, you hop around, you get back up and you go to the refrigerator, because that's where you were going in the middle of the night, or you go to piss. You feel better once you piss or find those leftovers in the refrigerator. There's nothing that feels good later, not the next year or the year after that, when you lose to that fantasy manager, especially in a cash league. First of all, I don't know why you would play in any league that doesn't have cash at this point. We're too old to be sitting around here bothering lineups and there's no money to be made. Like, that's just immature.
I ain't got time.
Hey, don't send me no invite to no free league. I swear to God, I'm going to cuss you out if you invite me to a free league. Because why? Why am I wasting my time?
Bro, if you send me an invite talking about, we just playing for bragging rights, man, what I'm going to do with bragging rights? I already know I'm better than all y'all.
I snub my nose.
I don't need to prove it.
I turn my nose up if the buy-in is $50, because that means we're only having a $600 pot if it's a 12-man league. I'm not checking the lineup every week for a $50 buy. What is your minimum buy-in these days for a fantasy team?
Minimum? The least I would do, let's see. So I'm in a championship in one league where the buy-in was 100. And typically I wouldn't play in a league where the buy-in is 100 because, again, for the same, and the buy-in is exactly 600, and the pot is exactly 600 for the champion, to which you hit it right on the head. We had this conversation over the weekend because the guy that I'm playing in the championship, he wanted to split the pot, which is I am staunchly against.
He's not confident.
Staunchly against, because
that guy's not confident.
He's not confident, and I don't think if we're gonna do this, we're going to fight it out to the end, right? So I did the math. If you combine the 600, which is grand prize, and the second place award, you split that up, it's $450. I'm like, so I'm only gaining $150 if I lose to you, I gain $150 if I just split, right? I'm like, I really just play it out. But in any case, $100. I only took this lead because bro came to me like, hey man, I got an open spot. We kind of getting close to the draft. Can you fill that for me? All right, I'll do you that favor. But 100, I typically wouldn't do that. I would not do 100. I'm trying to stay around the 150 range. Something that's going to get those competitive juices going.
A nice post-Christmas bonus.
Right.
And after Christmas
Exactly.
shopping, we all need that little bonus from, I'm in 2 championship finals. I need that. And I'm in a third place game. I need all that. I need all that.
I got an expensive daughter. I need that money.
A college age daughter, right?
I need that money, but right.
Oh, yeah.
She ain't stopped being expensive yet.
How old is she now?
22.
22? That baby almost 30 and she's
22.
still tapping your pockets?
Man, she
When
be
does it
running
stop?
She every time I tell her like, oh, look, man, you too young, you got this now. You too old, you got this now. Keeps like, nah, you my dad, you got it.
So now you're financially obligated for life. At what point?
For life.
At what point do the kids take care of the parents?
I can't wait for that. Don't hurry put me in an old folks house, but I can't wait for you to like, you know what, Dad, I got it. Them days, I can't wait for those. Buy me lunch.
Need a return on this investment soon.
Man, yesterday, man. All right, so let's go on to this preview. So the Bears are playing the 11-4 Bears are playing the 11-4 San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football in Santa Clara. I guess that's a little bit of a suburb of San Francisco. I don't know, but that's where they moved Levi Stadium, Santa Clara. The line right now is 49ers by 3, total 52.5. Q, do you remember the last time these two teams played each other?
That was last season. Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember? What do you remember from that game?
I remember the Bears just looking totally hopeless. I think they got down 21-0 or 21-7. I remember there was a few nice Caleb throws in the second half, but it was just it was a hard game to watch and pay attention because the Bears they refused to stop San Francisco and there was no C-Mac. There was no Christian McCaffrey. I think even the 49ers backup running back, Jordan Mason, was injured for this one. So I think Isaac Garendo ran all over us. And then I also remember doing
it wasn't really Garendo. It was Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy and George Kittle. They lit the Bears ass on fire last year. I think Brock Purdy started was 17-17, if my memory serves correct, in the first half. And George Kittle, I remember doing the review of this episode. We'll talk about that in a second. I remember doing a review of that game.
Classic review.
And I was saying, classic review. I remember saying, these are the most recent games of George Kittle. He had like 3 catches for like 16 yards. And, that was how he was coming into the game. Mm. And then he gave the Bears 150 across the forehead. The Bears was in the middle of a 10-game loser streak. So it was just another week of just tragic Bears football. And it was getting daunting. But the best thing about that game was the review, Q, as you pointed out, because we got this.
You're full of shit.
Tiff was unhinged during that review.
Do you remember what she was saying that to us about?
Because we were objective in breaking down Caleb Williams' performance, and she wanted us to blame him completely for the debacle in San Francisco, as if he played defense or was in the defensive prep room. And I'm like, well, damn, his defense just gives up 2 opening drives. You're down double digits already. The 49ers are already know you have to abandon the run. I thought Caleb didn't perform that bad. Yeah, she wanted our heads. Jaden Daniels' hype was at an all-time fever. Bears fans were running around talking about, we should have drafted Jaden, and crying. I can't do the Tip voice for everybody. How do you do it? Should have drafted Jalen. I'm trying to make her voice for everything. But yeah, that was a dark week in Bears history. A
It
dark
was.
week. And the thing is, we've been breaking generational curses with Ben Johnson. We've had some nightmares in San Francisco. Jay Cutler,
1984.
1984. Well, we didn't get to see that. No, I was a baby in '84, but I didn't really get to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But in my recent memory, Terrell Owens setting the record on us. Cade McNown and that offense not crossing midfield in 2000, and we only lost 17-0 that game, which pretty much got Cade McNown sent out of town, which might have been a positive thing. Then, do you remember we were actually contenders this year? Jay Cutler got hurt, and Jason Campbell, who had been a starter with the Raiders and Redskins, previously, came in and was awful, and we just got railroaded. I think we were 6-2 or 7-2. Fell to 7-3, fell to 10-6, and I thought that team was one of the best teams in the NFC that year. That's the team that set the record for takeaways. Only gave it like 250 points. I thought when healthy, that team could have made a lot of noise in the NFC playoffs. And then one of your favorite Jay Cutler moments, 5 interceptions on a Thursday night game, where he just absolutely refused to stop throwing interceptions. I think we lost 9-7 that game, and Cuddy threw 5 interceptions. And I think 3 of them were in the red zone, or 4, where he just absolutely.
It was 3. It was 3 red zone interceptions, and
it was 5.
I remember.
It was a 5, but it was 3 in the red zone.
I've never seen anybody else throw 5 interceptions. He's done this twice. He's thrown 5 interceptions in a game twice in the Bears jersey.
How do you get to
usually
number
after the
4
fourth one, they get pulled?
How do you get to the 4th? I don't care who you are. If you're not seeing the field and you're having that bad of a game, this isn't a permanent benching, but damn, you got 4 interceptions. You need to come out the game.
Oof.
And I think
Thursday.
I think the most frustrating thing was in the red zone, the 49ers either bracketed Brandon Marshall or straight up double teamed him, and Cutler still tried to get it in there.
One of them, he threw it directly to the middle linebacker's chest. I think it was Patrick Willis back there. He threw it right to his chest. He was right.
Or it might have been Bowman.
He was.
That was one of my favorite linebackers.
It was Bowman.
That was one of my favorite linebackers of all time.
Buddy was spying Cutler. I don't know why, but he was sitting right there in the middle of the field, and Cutler threw it right directly to his chest. I've never thrown, since I stopped playing baseball, I haven't thrown anything that hard ever in my life. I threw the shit out of my remote when he did that. It broke into, I didn't know a remote could break into that many pieces. I was so pissed. I was like, at that point, like, yeah, we got to do it. This Cutler guy is garbage. We got to get this guy out of here. And I hated him forever since then. And
now we see where the hate comes from. It was a 10-6 loss November 2009. I just looked it up.
And he threw 5. We lost by 4, and he threw 5 picks.
He threw 5. 3 in the red zone. We could have just kicked field goals. But you know what? Now that I think about it, knowing what we know now, maybe there was no fan duel, but Cutler had to have a bookie somewhere where he was paying off some type of debt. How do you throw 5 interceptions? I've seen guys throw lots of interceptions when they're in situations where they have to throw the ball. You know, you're down 2 scores, you're down 3 scores. Defense know you got to throw. The edge rushers are pinning their ears back. Corners are sitting on every route. But you're in a competitive game, or we thought it was competitive, and Cutler just, yeah.
I'm certain he had money on the game because what we know now, he's a criminal. In any case, the 49ers have been a thorn in the side of a good Bears team for a long time, going all the way back to the 1984 season, in which that game in which the Bears played the Niners towards the end of the season, propelled the Niners to win the Super Bowl, and it kind of started the villain arc for the 85 Bears, because after that loss, the 85 Bears was born, in my opinion. Previewing this game, both teams come in at 11-4. As you all know, Caleb Williams leads the Bears with 3,400 yards, 23 TDs. DJ Moore, as I did say, someone's going to overtake Rome in a second. DJ Moore now leads the team. He's the receiving room for the Bears. Yeah, 48 catches, 664 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns on the season. DeAndre Swift should be a Pro Bowler. 204 carries, 993 yards. He will become a 1,000-yard runner for the second time in his career. come Sunday and 7 TDs on the season. San Francisco 49ers, their 2025 leaders are as such. Mac Jones, 2,151 yards passing, 13 TDs. Christian McCaffrey leads them in both rushing and receiving. He has 92 catches for 849 yards, 7 TDs, and he has 1,039 rushing yards and 9 scores as well. All right, so we talked about the recent matches, not the recent match. We talked about some of the Bears' history against this team, and we talked about their leaders. Let's now get into the Bears' offense against the Niners' defense. And I think we both see this the same way. The Bears have the advantage here if in one aspect, rushing. The Niners' defense is not a very good rushing defense, Q. They're decent statistically. They allow about 103 yards per game. But recently, they've given up 5 yards per carry to running backs. The Bears average 5 yards per carry. And if you give them 5 yards per carry, ask the Eagles what's going to happen to them.
They're going to keep running it down your throat. You give the Bears 5 yards, you might as well give them 5 more because they're coming back with another run.
Do you think that's the biggest advantage the Bears have against the 49ers defense, or you see any other advantages?
Absolutely. The Bears have rolled their run game since the bye week. So I feel confident. You asked me a couple weeks ago against the Eagles. I feel confident with the Bears run offense against any run defense in the NFL at this moment, just because I've seen them win consistently. And they got 4 guys on that offensive line performing at a Pro Bowl level, even though Dahlman and Tooney were only 2 that got the nod. And I think that's a kind of a thing where the NFL's number game said, well, look, we're not going to send all 4. We'll send 2 representatives, even though the other 2 were deserving. I just feel like at this point of the season, with the weather getting colder, with the Bears run game in such a rhythm, I got to take the Bears run game in every matchup until proven otherwise. So, yeah, I think that's the Bears' biggest advantage this weekend against the 49ers.
The Niners are actually a top 10 rushing defense. However, the last few games they've been had. They're giving up, as I said earlier, 5 yards per carry. I do think that's one way the Bears can handle this game. Another way, I don't think their front seven is all that good in general. Not just stopping the run. I don't think they're in general in defending tight ends. I don't think they're good, and they're definitely not good in getting to the quarterback. They have 18 sacks on the season, and we thought the Bears.
Yeah, we're in game. This is heading into game 15. I'm sorry, game 16. That's just a little over 1 sack per game.
We think the Bears can't get to the quarterback. This team can't get to the quarterback. If the Bears struggle in pass rush, this team, they are the new floor for that. They only 18 sacks on the season. No, you already talked about no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. The opportunity to score points on this team is right there for the Bears. I don't know. The Bears have struggled playing. It could be. We hope so. But the Bears have struggled, Caleb Williams included, at playing a complete 60 minutes. We've only seen them do that, 3 times this season? Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dallas.
Yeah. And you can't even say Cincinnati was a complete 60-minute game because they had so many breakdowns in the last 3 minutes because the game should have been a blowout. You gave up a quick touchdown and an onside kick. So really, I say the only complete 60-minute game the Bears played was Dallas and Cleveland.
How would you attack this 49ers defense? If you were Ben Johnson, what kind of looks are you trying to give them?
If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm gonna keep it on the ground. And that's not to say I don't believe in Caleb. So I do believe that he will be the ultimate determining factor in this game. But I keep it on the ground. I soften them up. Then I'm going over the top with Caleb. I'm doing it the same way they did in the second half against Green Bay. Consistent with the run game, then hit them with play action fake. then go over the top. I think that's the game plan the Bears can use against the 49ers. You also got to be cognizant. The 49ers offense is playing really good football right now, and Kyle Shanahan is in his bag. If you look at what he's scheming up out there, the way he's getting receivers open with these mesh concepts, the way he's getting Christian McCaffrey in space, the zone blocking scheme, everything's working in San Francisco offensively. I want to keep it on the ground because I want to keep them on the sideline. Brock Purdy is cooking. This is some of the best football I've seen Brock Purdy ever play. Also, Brock Purdy will turn that ball over. So I want to keep them on the sideline. I want to keep that offense anxious. And I want them to get on the field after the Bears go on an 8-minute drive and march down and punch it in and feel like they got to answer quickly. I want to rush Brock Purdy, and I want him to do the things we've seen him do before, where he tries to fit the ball in places where it shouldn't be fit, where he takes risks he shouldn't take. Because the Bears are the leading team the leading defense in takeovers. So I feel like if you can get a lead, and you can force him to be one-dimensional. I know Christian McCaffrey's having a great year. He is not going to kill you on the ground. We face better running backs on the ground than McCaffrey. We face better running offenses than the 49ers. So they're going to give you a steady dose of McCaffrey. Let him get his 3-4 yards. You can't it doesn't look like Kittle's going to play, but you can't let Purdy get vertical and hit you with Jawan Jennings down the field. You can't let him get too much time in the pocket. So that's the game plan I want to see the Bears utilize against the 49ers.
You said it right. The Bears, there's no reason why the Bears can't run on this team. The Bears have been running on everybody. This would be another team that the Bears can just stomp all over. And that works in favor of helping the defense out, where the defense has been very vulnerable and giving up a lot of yards in between the 220s, right? So that is in this case, offense is your best defense. And the way Ben Johnson likes to call his plays, the way he likes to use the run to set up the play action, the different multiple run looks, and then calling a pass play out of that same look later on in the game, he does that. In fact, you've seen that's how the Bears won the game against the Packers. They lined up in that 13? They lined up in 13, a heavy concept.
Yeah.
6 or 7 times in that game?
Yeah.
And they ran out of it every time until that last time in which they play action threw the ball.
Boy, did Ben Johnson set the Packers up good for that.
Mm-hmm. So sequencing is going to be very important in this game as well. We got to have success early downs from Kyle Monangai, from DeAndre Swift, who should be a Pro Bowler, in order for Caleb Williams, who should have clean pockets. The Niners do not get back there. They are historically bad at pressuring the quarterback, not just sacking the quarterback, but pressuring the quarterback. So the play action should be in play.
Phillip Rivers,
and you know who else? Yeah, if you let Phillip Rivers light you up, Bengay Rivers, come on now, Grandpa Rivers, come on. But in addition to that, Luther Burden is coming back for this game. He's been cleared to play. That's just another deep threat. That's another playmaker out there. If you can get the play action move, get the linebackers to bite up a little bit, and then sneak Luther Burden behind with a shallow end, man, he could turn that into a 20-yard, 25-yard play. And you know how the Bears love these big plays.
One of the best offenses in the league at getting chunk plays.
Over under, Q, 5.5 catches for Colston Loveland.
Under. But I think he's going to do big damage with him. I think he's going to get 4 or 5 catches, but I think you're going to have a couple of them that are first downs and 1 touchdown, 1 tutty for Colston.
How, and this is the last thing we got on the offense before we switch over to defense. How upsetting would it be if we get into halftime of this game and the Bears have had another clunky start?
Pretty upsetting because you're heading to the playoffs, and even though the Bears have been able to overcome these clunky starts, that's not what you want to be doing in January. You're playing the best teams in the league for high stakes, and their concentration level and their hunger level is going to be heightened. So you can't make too much of a trend. You can't keep relying on picking it up in the second half. You're getting guys. You're going to get teams playing their best football, giving their best punch you got to clean it up heading into the playoffs. You got to use these last 2 games to dress rehearsal. The Lions are like they'll have nothing to play for. So I don't know what you're going to see against Detroit in the last game of the season. From a Bears or Lions standpoint, neither team might have anything to gain for that game. So you got to use this one as a good tune-up. You're going up against a fellow NFC playoff team, and you're going up against a team you might see in the first round. San Francisco might have to come here to Soldier Field in the first round. So before we borrow a stadium, ultimately, we might welcome them to Chicago on our way back to San Francisco. Mikasa Suka.
Bear down. All right, let's switch sidelines. Let's go Bears defense against the 49ers offense. Most of y'all saw that Monday Night Football game against the Colts and the Niners. The Niners offense has got a lot of people shook out there, a lot of the national media. And, you know, the national media like to hype up shit.
But yeah, they definitely do.
The Colts are going in the wrong direction. And I'm not taking anything away from the Niners.
No, you're right. This isn't the same Colts defense or team that we saw 5 weeks ago. The Niners defense, the Colts defense kind of left the chat. I mean, when Daniel Jones' Achilles snapped, they were already heading the wrong direction. The Colts looked deflated on both sides of the ball.
Okay, so the San Francisco 49ers offense, they are ranked 9th in the league in points scored. They average 26 a game. They're ranked 10th, just for food for thought. They're ranked 10th in offense at 25.8 a game. 49ers are 5th in the league in passing yards per game at 249 per game. And they're 24th in the league in rushing yards per game. They're not, even though they got Christian McCaffrey, who's a Pro Bowler. Let me just put that out there. He's a Pro Bowler. Even though they got CMC, they have not been a good rushing team.
No.
And I think maybe it's because we cover the Bears and being Bears fans. We assume that if you're a good offense, you should be able to run the ball too, right? With some type of regularity. I think Christian McCaffrey averages less than 4 yards per carry. I think he's averaging a career low. Yeah. I think he's having a career low in that way.
The running game was inefficient at best. I'm not worried about Christian on the ground.
So if you tell me if they're not that efficient of a running team, it takes them 3 tries to get 10 yards off of the run. So they're primarily a passing team, and their quarterback is Brock Purdy. Not taking anything away from Brock Purdy. I am a Brock Purdy truther. When everybody was dogging him, saying he was mid, he shouldn't get all the money he deserved to get, I defended him. But if you telling me he's going to lead a high-flying offense, I got to pump my brakes there. But, boy, Brock Purdy, he can win you a game, but he can also lose you too.
We've seen that with Purdy, and this is not a good combination for Purdy, going up against a defense that has been improved against the run, and a defense that takes the ball away. As I alluded to earlier, Purdy will turn it over. You turn him into that gunslinger, he'll put it in your DB's arms at least a couple times.
Oh, yeah. The biggest knock on Purdy for all the years is that he was being carried, not in the same way that Anthony Joshua carried Jake Paul, but he was being carried by his skill, his wide receivers, his running backs, his skill position players, as they're doing most of the work for him. You know, short passes and they getting out of the yak yard. No more Deebo Samuel. Christian McCaffrey, he's not having an effective year rushing the ball, but he is still leading this team in receiving. George Kittle could possibly miss this game. So if you don't have Deebo Samuel, you don't have, and they've effectively excused Ayuk. George Kittle might not play. Ricky Pearsall is his status for this game is up in the air. Who is he going to beat us with?
His connection with Juwan Jennings has been really, really clicking again. Last year was really good.
The dude with the Golden Lord patch in his head.
Yeah, the Golden Lord. I think Jalen Johnson or Nashawn Wright take their time and humble him. The way they're playing. That's his main target if Kittle doesn't play, along with C-Mac. C-Mac as a wide receiver, that's really been his main target.
The last 2 games, Brock Purdy has thrown 8 touchdowns. He had a quarterback rating over 125 each. He's playing good ball. I don't want to take anything from him, but coming into this game with the injury concerns that they have, and the Bears have a proclivity of taking the ball away, and the Brock Purdy that I know, not to say that he's a turnover magnet the way Jay Cutler was or Jameis Winston is. I don't want to do that much, but he can do it though. He can turn the ball over, and the Bears are bloodhounds when it comes to a 50-50 ball. The Bear again with the Bears defense, they've struggled. I mean, statistically, we've seen them. They between the 20s, they've struggled. Whether it's stopping the run or stopping the pass, they're giving up too many third down conversions, which have you. I'm not trying to say the Bears defense is something that it ain't. It ain't. The Bears are still ranked 29th in giving up big completions. And the last couple of games, if you just take those last 2 games, the Brock Purdy-led offense has been getting a lot of big completions. I just want to put that out there. Now, let's go back to this run game for the Niners. We all know who he is. He may be a Hall of Famer. I still think he may not be. We shall see. Scale of 1 to 5. How dangerous is CMC in this matchup?
He's still dangerous, particularly as a wide receiver. We've noticed the Bears defense has struggled with a couple things, and we've noted that mobile quarterbacks have been absolutely, from Jackson Dart to Snoop Huntley to Malik Willis, they've been trouble for the Bears. And also running backs out the backfield as receivers. Ashton Jonty, was it 2 receiving touchdowns he had against us? I know he had one where Sewell could have. Yeah. Aaron Jones in the first game beating Sewell. We've seen the Bears linebackers, and mostly because of injury, we've seen them struggle to keep up with these backs out the backfield. McCaffrey is the ultimate receiving back out the backfield. I mean, he's a throwback to Marshall Faulk. Pure dual threat. So I'm definitely concerned with Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield.
We gonna skip past LaDainian Tomlinson and go right to Marshall Faulk, huh?
LaDainian.
Well, I mean, no disrespect. No disrespect, because if Christian McCaffrey gets that 151 yards receiving that he needs, and I don't, with 2 games to go, I don't think he can't get 151 yards receiving, right?
Especially with the way they target.
He would be right. He would become the first running back in league history to have back-to-back 1,000 seasons. And I think the last time, I think the last running back who's had two seasons of 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving was Marshall Faulk.
And this is no disrespect to LaDainian Thompson. I didn't skip him. But LaDainian was a very good receiver out the backfield. Christian McCaffrey and Marshall Faulk are a little different, and they're just not utilized out the backfield. They can actually go line up on the line of scrimmage in the slot and be very effective beating DBs. I don't bet on LaDainian Tomlinson beating a DB running routes. He's going to beat linebackers. He's going to be dangerous running wheel routes and all sort of routes out the backfield. Christian McCaffrey and Marshall Faulk, you could line up on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to be a tough cover, even for nickelbacks and safeties. Another guy who probably deserves to be mentioned in there, bear down, Matt Forte. Very good back out the backfield.
You're right.
And
he lined up as a receiver too.
Yes, he did. I think he was even a better receiver than LaDainian. I don't think he saw as much volume as LaDainian consistently. But you remember there was a year Forte had 100 catches. And one thing about Forte is when he got outside on the perimeter, he looked like a wide receiver. I mean, he's 6'1", 6'2", and he was able to adjust to the ball in air. So I did disrespect the former running back. I disrespected the Bears running back so Chris McCaffrey won the best receiving back since Matt Forte.
I think the game, the number that came out of this last game for the Bears was 0. 0 for 5. That's how many times the Packers were in the red zone and they scored a touchdown. 0 times. that could come down to key. If the Bears are vulnerable in the middle of the field between the 20s, but they stiffen up in the red zone and bend don't break type of thing. Could that be one of the things that lead to another Bears win? Now, the San Francisco 49ers, their red zone percentage is 63%. That's 8th in the league. Do you think the Bears have the advantage in that perspective? Given the fact that, let's say George Kittle doesn't play, do you think the Bears have the advantage in the red zone?
Yeah. I do caution that even if George Kittle doesn't play, Jake Tongs has been very good in the red zone. He's a big target. So I will say, yes, if Kittle doesn't play, that's a huge break for the Bears. Does it swing the advantage in the red zone towards the Bears? Once again, I'm going to say yes. You know why? Because the Packers were coming into that game. I think they were operating as the best red zone offense in terms of converting the touchdowns. And like you said, 5 trips, 5 no's. So, yeah, I'm going to say the Bears.
Jake Tongs has 4 touchdowns on the season. The Bears, for their defense, the Bears are ranked 9th in the league as far as red zone defense. So that is going to be a key matchup. I do think this game comes down to whose front 7 plays the best. And I think the key matchup is definitely going to be the red zone defense. They're a top 10 red zone offense. The Bears are a top 10 red zone defense. And if you saw how the Bears were able to stay in the game with the Packers by keeping them out of the end zone, that could be the same script that leads the Bears to the win this week. The winner of this game has a very good shot of being the number one team in the NFC come playoffs. The Bears if the Bears win this game, they lock up the NFC North. No matter what the Packers do, no matter what they do next week against the Lions. They win this game, they lock up the division. There's meat on the table for the hungry Bears, not just oatmeal. With that being said, I can't see how the Bears are not determined to go out there and handle their business. They like proving the doubters wrong. Again, another game in which the Bears are underdogs. How many games have we done in which the Bears are underdog? It's like, and I don't think a 3-point dog is disrespectful because the 49ers are the home team.
Dog.
The 49ers.
Right. Vegas is pretty much saying the teams are even.
Right. And you give 2.5 points for the home team, even if they're both at the same record. I don't think this line is disrespectful, but the Bears are always counted as the underdog, whether it's a Vegas line or what the media is telling you. Most people are just telling you, yeah, the Bears ain't gonna handle this today. And how many times have the Bears smacked the team upside their head and said, no, you wrong. You wrong. I can't see how this isn't another week. Ben Johnson is great at a lot of things. He's great at formulating a great game plan. He's formulating and getting the guys ready, but he's also formulating keeping them even keel and keeping the main thing the main thing. And the main thing right now was to get this dub and to shore up a home game in the playoffs. We can worry about getting all of the games in the playoffs at home later, but win this game and we playing at the crib in January. A lot of people saying this game is going to be high scoring. That's based on what the 49ers have done recently, based on the fact that both teams average 25 points per game, based on both teams not having a very good defense. We've seen that before, though, right? We've thought games the Bears are going to play in are going to be high scoring.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way. I'm going to trend cautiously. I think the 49ers come back to earth a little bit. I think the Bears play their natural game. I think this game is a regular 20 to 27 Bears.
I'm going to go Bears scoring 27, but I'm going to give the 49ers a different score. I think it's a close game. I think the Bears win this one 27-23.
I'm not mad at that. Bear down.
Bear down.
You're full of shit.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.